We're starting to put down this ground cover for our garden that we're building on the west end of the property here. You can see the ground cover here. We've got it tacked on one side to keep it in place. And now what Carol's doing is she's going along the other edge, pulling it tight and putting more staples in this fabric. This particular piece that we're putting in right now is going to be the walkway around the perimeter of the garden. We got the first row over here of the ground cover. What we're going to do now is, this is going to be one of the rows right here where the plants will go. So I'm going to take some of this rabbit manure that we collected this week in this bag and just spread it down the middle of this row right here where we're going to plant stuff. We're going to be pretty generous with this. We want this to be real fertilized. Alright, we're getting ready to lay out the rows for where we're going to actually plant the plants. We're going to put these T-posts in every 6 feet because what we're going to plant here is probably going to need the extra strength to hold the weight of the plants up. So what we're doing is each one of these T-posts is 6 feet long, so we're just going to use it as our marker, lay the T-post down, and we're going to put some white spray paint in each spot where the T-post will go. And then we'll come back and burn a hole there for the T-posts to go into and put them in the ground. So that's what we're doing right now. What we're going to do now is we're going to put the posts in these holes every 6 feet. What we've done is we're using a torch to burn the holes in the ground cover, and that way it seals the edges of the ground cover so that they don't continue to fray, and if something kicks against them or something like that, they're not going to rip and have a whole bunch of strings all over the place out here. So we're just going to light this torch. Hopefully it'll light. It's windy out here today. And then we're just going to burn a hole in this fabric big enough for that post to go into. And we have to be careful not to set the ground on fire. Looks like that's the last one. Alright, we're putting these posts in here, putting them every 6 feet. So we got our holes burned in here, and now all we have to do is put the T-post in. This post pounder seems to be a good thing to have. And just like that, we've got them in. So now we have a row to put our wire on. Alright, we're getting ready to put down the next roll of this ground cover. We've found that the easiest way to do it is to start at one end, hold this end down right here, and then just roll this to the other end. And that seems to work out pretty good. It saves a lot of time and keeps us from having to bend over and push it so much. So we'll get started on this. What we're going to do now is we're going to cut this fabric. What we've found is that using a torch to cut this is usually the best way to do it. if you use a torch to cut this, what it does is it seals the edges of both sides of the fabric so that when it's cut off, it doesn't start to fray and come apart and you end up with these strings all over the ground and that sort of stuff. So I'm going to light this torch, hopefully. It's windy out here today. So then what I'll do is just go straight across this and burn this. The wind will cooperate with me. As you can see, it seals it as it goes. So now that we've got the torch lit and cut, we've got this fabric cut, all we have to do now is go back and put the little staples in all along the edges and on the ends and everything to keep it down, and then we'll just move on to the next row and continue the same process. What we're doing now is we've made a template to put down here where the plants are going to go. We cut these holes in this piece of board here. So then we're going to take this paint and spray these spots so that we know where the plants go. And then whenever we get ready to put these in, we've got a little, I don't know what you call it, it's a little burner thing that we've made that we'll use to burn these holes, and we'll show you that a little bit later when we get ready to do that. But for now, what we're doing is we're just putting spray paint in here so we know where they go, and then when we get ready to burn our holes, all we have to do is just burn these little white circles right here, and that's where the plants will go on either side of the fence, and then hopefully they'll grow and attach to the fence and grow up and that. So anyway, so that's what we're doing now. Alright, we're just moving down the row here, putting these circles on here so we know where to put our holes. One of the things that we like is this is inexpensive to do it this way. Pretty much we've got $2 in this. We've got $1 for this poster board that we bought, $1 for the can of spray paint we bought at Walmart. So it's a pretty inexpensive way to do it. They do sell things that cost a whole lot more money than $2 that you can buy that would be a template to do this sort of thing. And if that's in your budget to do it that way, that's great. But if you're trying to save money and do it inexpensively but still do it a good way, this is a good way to do it. So we're just going to continue on with putting our circles on. Hi, we're going to talk a little bit today about how to burn holes in the fabric that we're putting in the garden for the ground cover. What we've done is we've used these, actually are legs that you would get off of a little inexpensive round table that you buy in stores. Has a little round top and the legs screw into it. And it already has this little screw in the end. So what we've done is we've repurposed these to use for a burner. I made one already. This is a bigger can. And you can use a size can, whatever size you need for the size holes you need to burn. So I've already made this one, and what I did was I just drilled a hole in the top of the can and then just screwed this leg, piece of wood, right into it. And then we have another one, smaller size. We use this size for smaller plants. And so what I've done is I've pre-drilled a little tiny hole right there in the bottom, as you can see there. And then so what I'm going to do is take this and screw this right into it, and it should make its own hole. And it may take some doing to do it, to get this to go in there, but you just have to keep working at it until you get that to go down inside there. You have to put a little bit of pressure on it to get it started, and then once it does, it goes right in just like that. And then you have a little burner. We call it a burner. What we'll do is we'll put some hot coals into a fire starter. I know you've seen them. They've got their big tall things with the handle, and you put your charcoal inside there and light it. And when they get hot, then what we'll do is we'll just put the end of this can down inside there. It only takes about 5 or 6 coals, I think, to heat this up. We'll stick this down inside there and get this edge hot, and then we'll just go down the line, and we'll show you that in a few minutes here, how we do that. You just go down the line and just stick this on the fabric, and it burns the hole in there for you. So now you've got a hole that you can plant your plants in when you get ready to do that. This is not an original idea of ours. I got this idea actually from Living Traditions. He did it on his video, and we tried it, and so we're going to try to do this and see how that works out. So stick with us until the next segment, and we'll see how this works. Okay, so we got our coals hot in this charcoal chimney here. So what I'm going to do is put this can in here, hold it in here for a few minutes on top of these hot coals, let it get the edge of the can hot, and then once that's heated up, then we can use this to just stick it on the fabric and burn the holes, and we'll just continue on our way. Just like that, we have a hole. And there's another one. I'll have to heat it again. Depending on how hot you get it, determines how many holes you can burn before you have to reheat it. This method that we're using to burn these holes is just a quick, easy, cheap method to do this. They do make some kind of contraption, or whatever you want to call it, to do this kind of thing. And if that's in your budget to buy something like that to do that, that's fine. Otherwise, if you're trying to save money, then this is a good way to do it. So we like this process, and it seems to work out well for us. If you haven't subscribed to our channel already, let me invite you to hit the subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. And thanks for joining us here on Hideaway Homestead.